Hey there, it's Pastor Mike, along with Pastor Sean from Pond Hill Baptist Church. We are so excited that you scanned our Advent Week 1 picture. The picture that you saw depicts an angel playing a horn, and it's interesting because in Advent Week 1, what we really are trying to capture with that picture is the idea that's found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter number 1. It's the story of the angel as he makes his rounds, proclaiming or announcing the royal birth of Jesus. Of course, we know the story. It's not the typical royal birth. But in this announcement stage, it represents something so incredible to the people who receive the announcements. In fact, the angel finds the Virgin Mary and says to her that she is going to have a child. And what's so important about Advent 1, as we wait, as we prepare, as we anticipate the coming birth of Jesus, as we anticipate Christmas and the fullness of what that is, really what's happening is God is revealing, he's announcing that he is going to keep his word to the people who he has promised.
Yeah, really what the angel brought to the people that they talked to was this idea of hope. And during the time in Scripture that this is taking place, the Israelites had started to kind of lose hope. They hadn't heard a prophecy like they had heard before in their history for a while. It had been a while, and I think a lot of people had started to lose hope. And so the angel comes along and says, hey, I have a message for you that God has not forsaken you. God has not left you. In fact, God is right here. He wants to keep his promises. And in that idea that God is with you, that he's faithful, that he's doing something, that is what the angel is inviting everybody to take hope in. And I think today for us, as we're celebrating Advent, hope is really important, especially now in 2020. Hope is maybe more important than it's ever been before. And I think this message of hope that was given to these people in history back, 2,000 change years ago in Israel is the same message that God brings to us today, is that, man, have hope because the Lord is with you. He hasn't forsaken you. He hasn't left you. He's right there, and he wants to be faithful. He wants to keep his promises.
So how do we celebrate Advent on this first week of the Advent season? Well, some thoughts are perhaps reading the Gospel of Luke, chapter number 1, and listening to the announcements that's made. Maybe even listening to Mary's prayer that she prays after she receives the message from the angel. I think it's always good for us to go back to the story of the Nativity and the events surrounding that, just to draw the picture, make it complete in our minds, and think about the things that are going on in the world at that time. I may ask myself the question, I wonder what Mary thought about the angelic announcement. I wonder what Mary thought about, what's going to happen when Joseph finds out? What happens when the announcement is made to Joseph? Where is Joseph's heart in this? What is happening with his faith? And how can he be drawn into this story and understand exactly what these incredible individuals are thinking and wondering in their hearts during this time? It is a great time of anticipation. There's a great amount of hope there. But can I say to you as well, there's probably an awful lot of fear that's going on. There's also a lot of things that just are unknown. And so put yourself in their shoes and kind of consider that. As well, I think one of the great ways to celebrate Advent week number 1 is just to prepare our homes for the Christmas season. I think decorating is a simple way to prepare, maybe even making an Advent calendar that includes scripture of reading. You can find those online just with a simple Google search. And so those are just some ways that we can kind of prepare. That's what we're talking about. This royal announcement that Christmas is on its way, or maybe even more important, this royal announcement that there's a king coming is so important for us to prepare for, and to make sure that when the day comes that there's still room for the king. That's kind of the idea. Is there room in our busy season for Jesus, for us to celebrate and anticipate who Jesus is and what Jesus is doing? And I think that's a great way to prepare in week number 1 of our Advent season.
Absolutely. And we're super excited to be celebrating this Advent with you guys. In fact, we're going to have a little segment at the end of this video that just invites you to right now celebrate by kind of meditating with us on some of the scripture that we alluded to. And so I want to invite you to watch the video to the end and kind of take a moment of silence or a moment of prayer, a moment of reading the scripture that'll be on the screen, just to say, Jesus, I'm ready for the hope that you're bringing for Christmas. There is room for you, even right now in my busy schedule as I'm watching this, to celebrate your arrival. And of course, we're going to be doing this every week for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So you're not going to want to miss it. So be sure to tune back in with us, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And we're looking forward to celebrating this time with you. And we want to invite you to take a moment, even right now, to celebrate.